tonight with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel as we get set to watch Alabama receive what we're expecting to be a lot of awards. This is college awards night, and we got our crew with you, and we appreciate everyone for joining us. Also, before I introduce the crew, thumbs up as you watch tonight. Subscribe to our channel. Again, Bama Insider and BamaInsider.com. Our beat writer for Bama Insider is Tony Tsoukalas. Trey Yanity is our staff intern and a rising star in broadcasting, and the managing editor of Bama Insider, the Alabama rival site, is Kyle Henderson. What's up, Kyle?
What's up, guys? It's awards night. You know, just on Tuesday night, it was the Heisman Trophy, but wait, there's more as Alabama continues this quest of dominance and perfection. I mean, you see all the awards lined up. So there's a finalist at pretty much all of these. I think the only one is the Punter Award, which they don't have a guy for. Tony's going to be with us, for a while underneath. Tony, that's correct, right? They don't have a finalist for the Punter?
No, it's a surprise. They don't have a finalist for the Punter Award. No. But for the first time in a while, they have a finalist for the Grozo Award. And if you look at that, that's a rarity for Alabama, having the top kicker in the nation. Can you imagine?
Well, it's a good sign. I mean, Alabama has struggled in the kicking area, but that this year, obviously a different story. And it's almost like umpiring in baseball. When you have a good kicker, you really don't think about it a whole lot. You just, hey, look, there's an opportunity, and you have a guy in Will Reichert that can take advantage of that. Will Reichert has been everything that Alabama fans, Tony, have dreamed of. I mean, how many games has Alabama put themselves in a bad spot or lost, over the years? And I'm not just talking about the Nick Saban era. I mean, over the years, it just seems like for some reason it's been tough to find a good kicker. Last year, Reichert was injured. This year, he's been healthy, and he's been amazing.
He's been automatic. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I think it's 90 in a row. I'm trying to find the stat right now, but it's the longest anybody in a season's gone without missing a kick. And I believe it's 90 in a row. He's just been automatic. He's made literally every single kick, and it's not just these chip shot field goals. He made a 52-yarder against Georgia right before the half, which really changed the complexion of that game. Really gave Alabama that momentum that they needed in the second half. So he's clutch. He's got ice in the veins, and it's a definite step forward for what Alabama's used to having.
Well, we'll talk about that and many other awards tonight. Of course, the big news on Tuesday was that Smitty, there he is in our picture, he is the Heisman Trophy winner. So Devonta Smith, or a.k.a. the Slim Reaper, is the 2020 Heisman Trophy winner receiver for Alabama. We're going to talk about these awards as they come down. We're expecting that Alabama will win a lot of awards tonight, but let's just kind of get into something that's even bigger than the individual awards, and that's the national championship. Alabama takes on Ohio State. That's on Monday. There's been some rumors that this game could possibly have the date changed, but it looks like that they're going to play this. There's a lot of things that go into a championship game. It's not just as easy as saying, hey, let's play on Thursday. So obviously it'll be good to get this thing played. Alabama has found a way to play all of their games this year. Ohio State, it's been another story, but these two teams are set to play 7 o'clock from Miami on Monday night. Alabama's won a lot of awards. Their offensive coordinator has taken a head coaching job with Texas. Will distractions slow down Alabama? Trey.
There's a lot of distractions around this game. This is a much different national championship than we've ever seen. Steve Sarkisian is on the way out the door. So all these things playing into it, I think the simple answer is no. I think this is a team that's super disciplined, as they always are under Nick Saban and in this Alabama program. This team especially, this is a lot of star players that have been around for a while. These are guys that have played in playoff games that know how to win here. I don't think too much, but I think it's definitely going to come into play just a little bit. Game planning this week has got to be a little bit different. I think Steve Sarkisian's the kind of guy that is just so committed to this team, this group, that it's not going to change his mindset too much. He's not going to take any time away from what he's doing with Alabama to worry about recruiting with Texas quite yet. But, there's still the COVID looming and, whether this game's going to be played on Monday or not. So the players are going to just kind of have to take it day by day. But I think for the most part, they're just going to do what they've done all season. That's keep their head down, play disciplined football, and, just figure out a way. That's what this team does best, find a way. The offense is going to be just fine. We're getting, better news on Jalen Waddle every day. It's looking very promising. But he also might not play in this one as well. So the offense is going to find out a lot more when, play one, snap one there on Monday night, if the game is played on Monday night. But I think for the most part, they're going to put out the distractions and just play the football that they know how to.
Tony, Twitter can be an unforgiving place. And Kristen Saban, Nick Saban's daughter, I guess, found that out. She put a tweet that I actually liked. I pushed the button. I liked it. It was basically, I thought, in kind of half-hearted, saying to Ohio State, we're not going to cancel this game, or you shouldn't cancel this game. You want to play, basically something to the effect of the reason why they were calling COVID. The reason was that Justin Fields was injured. I looked at it as kind of half-hearted. I don't think her dad saw it that way. She put out an apology, and Twitter at last check was deleted in her name. So going to miss her tweets. I thought she was good at it, but we talk about distractions, and I can only imagine what that conversation would be like with her dad. The tweet.
Yeah. Look, I can't imagine Nick Saban liking that tweet. You might have liked it. The Alabama fans might have liked it, but I can't imagine Nick Saban being a fan of that. He doesn't want any of these distractions. And look, she apologized for it. I'm sure that they talked about it. That's not the kind of message Alabama wants to send heading into this game. I think that's just a little blip. I don't think it's going to be too much of a big deal for Alabama to need to deal with heading into this matchup. I don't think it's going to be actually a distraction, but hey, any motivation you can give the other team is not good. So I'm sure it's something that, Nick Saban talked to her about and maybe kind of stopped moving forward into this game.
Yeah. Same thing for you, Kyle. I mean, you're the father of two kids, but you're not as intense as Nick Saban, I don't think. Do you feel like that tweet gives them any kind of, I don't want to say momentum, but I mean, you love to have those things, bulletin board things. I didn't look at it that way, but obviously someone did.
Yeah, it's reverse rat poison. But I mean, while we're talking about this, it's the Davey O'Brien Award was just won by Mack Jones. I mean, he just beat out Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Trask. I mean, it's pretty incredible considering that Trevor Lawrence somehow was second in the Heisman voting. I mean, look at everything that Mack Jones did this year for Alabama: 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 77% efficiency, which is just out of this world. 203 quarterback rating, just an incredible honor for this young man. Just a couple weeks ago, he won the Johnny Unitas, that goes to the best underclassmen award for the quarterback position, and now he wins this award. I mean, this is a big time honor to beat out Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Trask, and I'm glad to see him do it. I mean, everything that he's put in from when he got here as a freshman to now you look at him as a redshirt junior and everything that he's had to go through, being patient, waiting his turn, and then comes up winning this award. So it's an incredible honor. I'm watching him right here on the screen. I mean, the guy just a couple nights ago up for the Heisman Trophy now walks away with the Davey O'Brien. And of course, he has an opportunity to be just the second quarterback since 2009 to lead an Alabama team to a perfect season on Monday night.
Yeah, he also won the Johnny Unitas Award. So he's had a fantastic year. Were you guys at all surprised that Trevor Lawrence finished ahead of him in Heisman when he has now won another quarterbacking award with this Davey O'Brien? Trey?
I wasn't, to be honest. I said it on our show the other night during the Heisman presentation. Mack Jones kind of, got the raw end of the stick there with Devonta Smith and the vote splitting because a lot of people were probably deciding between one Alabama player and another on their ballot. You don't want to go 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2 even. I think people decided on Devonta Smith. He was the clear-cut Heisman. He won the award, did everything it took to do so. So I think they were a little bit scared to maybe put an Alabama player at 1 and 2 on their ballot, or even, maybe some people were thinking Mack over Devonta. And, the vote splitting, I think, got the worst of Mack Jones for the Heisman, but this is the award that I think is deserving for Mack. The Davey O'Brien looks past, who else is on your team. You hear that conversation a lot. Oh, well, Mack Jones was throwing to Devonta Smith and this unbelievable core of receivers and had Najee Harris and everything else. they look into all of this, and they take every quarterback just the same. They knew Kyle Trask was throwing to Kyle Pitts and Tony and all these other, talented receivers. And, they decided to give Mack the award because he was the best quarterback in the country this year. And this is something, I doubted at the beginning of the season. We had this conversation a lot. I believe you and I both, Nick, we didn't think Mack was the guy. We thought it was going to be Bryce Young's role some point this season, and Mack Jones came in and proved everybody wrong. He had one of the most unbelievable seasons that an Alabama quarterback has ever had, and he's now the Davey O'Brien winner. Congratulations to Mack Jones, very deserving of this award.
Now they're about to announce the Chuck Bednarik Award, the former monster linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. Patrick Surtain is one of the finalists for this award, and it comes down to him, Zaven Collins, the linebacker from Tulsa, and it's Zaven Collins from Tulsa that wins the award. So Surtain, a great job with what he's done for Alabama. He's going to be a first-round pick, but this one doesn't go to the Crimson Tide, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of look at this award right here, and thank you very much, Brent, for the super chat. We appreciate it. I mean, we've definitely been on the grind. I mean, I was up at 5:15 a.m. sending out some gift cards to our subscribers on BamaInsider.com. Back at BamaInsider.com, small odd segue, but there was a conversation. Guys have been on BamaInsider.com for 20 years. If you can imagine that. 20 years they've been loyal subscribers of Bama Insider. So I was giving some gift certificates, but I was kind of going through the awards and kind of looking at everything that, Patrick Surtain has done. I mean, he's put together a fabulous season. I mean, he doesn't have the most tackles. He doesn't have the most interceptions. But I think when you look to veteran wide receivers or veteran defensive backs and guys who have, really done a lot for the secondary, it's certainly Patrick Surtain. He's going to be playing in the league. He's a guy that will be going against Chris Olave for Ohio State. It's going to be a fantastic matchup. And you really need a guy like this to step up against Ohio State. I mean, the Buckeyes certainly have some very good wide receivers. So look for Patrick Surtain to be that guy that steps up. He's a guy that we don't really talk about a lot, but I mean, he's certainly up for another award. That's the Jim Thorpe Award. The last person to win that from Alabama was actually Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yeah,
wow. Well, it's definitely exciting, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, look, Alabama's going to be winning a lot of these awards today, so just stay tuned. Like I said, Patrick Surtain's up for the Thorpe Award. Naji Harris is up for the Doak Walker. I expect him to win that. Davonte Smith's up for the Balitnikoff Award. Expect him. I mean, obviously, he's got to win that one, right? You've also got the Maxwell Award. Landon Dickerson, I think, could really win the Rimington Trophy. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy night for Alabama moving forward.
So the big news so far, Davey O'Brien Award for national quarterback. The winner was Mack Jones, Alabama. And again, I mean, he's just adding to his trophy case. No, he didn't win the Heisman, but he's still going to leave with a lot of hardware at the end of the season. And of course, Alabama and Ohio State play in the national championship game that's coming up from Miami on Monday. And we'll have a lot of coverage for that right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. As you guys hang out with us tonight, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with us as we talk college football. As we wait on the next award to be announced, let's kind of get into a conversation about a guy that's not going to win an award tonight, but possibly could have won an award, right? And I'm talking about Jalen Waddle. I mean, he was injured in the Tennessee game, and it really cost Alabama not having him, but they continued to go. And now rumors are guys that, as I don't know where Tony just went, but Kyle, word is that he's a game time decision, so we may actually have Jalen Waddle back for the championship game. What's the impact of this?
I mean, I think anytime you have a player like Jalen Waddle come back, I mean, I think it's going to add, that much more momentum. You're looking at a guy who, as we've talked about, several times throughout kind of the week, he provides something else, right? I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but it's just something else. He just adds so much to the team. And with Nick Saban today, I think I have a soundbite that I could play for you guys. He was talking about, that he doesn't have a crystal ball. And if I can find that, I'll play that in just a second. Here it is. Here's Nick Saban talking about Jalen Waddle. This is from earlier today.
I've had a chance to watch Jalen Waddle at practice for a couple of days. What What does it look like to you?
Well, I've already made a comment about that, so I don't have any crystal ball to know. The issue with injuries is, when a guy does practice, how does he respond to the workload? Sometimes if a guy practices one day and gets sore the next, you can't practice him the next day. So you just keep sort of trying to build up his workload to where he might be able to play. So that's a work in progress right now. So you really can't predict, where he might be. And then other guys, seem to get stronger as every day they practice, they get a little bit better. So this is something that we're trying to evaluate, but not anything that we can make any kind of prediction on at this point.
And there you go. You have it from Nick Saban, still day to day. But if Waddle does not have any setbacks, I believe he's going to play in this football game. So we dropped off with Tony Tsoukalis tonight, but it's great to have Andrew Bone with us. He's our recruiting expert for the Bama Insider YouTube and BamaInsider.com. What's up, Bone?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
What's up,
Well,
Ben?
we got one award in right now, and it was the Davey O'Brien Award. It went to Mack Jones. We talked a lot about Mack Jones, his recruitment to Alabama, how he almost ended up at Kentucky, the road that he's had as a backup behind two great quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. And now he's been the guy this year, and he's cashed in.
Yeah, who would have thought when Mack Jones signed with Alabama, he was going to, be the Davey O'Brien Award winner, down the road. I think he's had an unbelievable career, and he waited his turn. He had to sit behind Jalen and Tua, and obviously, had an unbelievable, season this year. So, I think everybody's, really proud of him. Really happy the way that he was able to have, just so much success, but. As we talked about the other night on the show, I mean, he was originally committed to Kentucky, during his junior season. And I think after he committed, there was a lot of talk that he was going to end up going elsewhere, because after he committed and after people started seeing his junior highlights, and he started going to some camps, he started attracting a lot of attention. Alabama was very interested in him, and as many people already know, Jake Fromm flipping from Alabama to Georgia really opened up the door for Tua and Mack Jones to join Alabama's recruiting class. Tua committed. I want to say Tua committed in May, and then Mack committed around June. It was right after he attended Alabama's camp. He went to Alabama's first summer camp, worked out, did extremely well. Alabama was always kind of wanting to take another quarterback, not just Tua. They wanted to take two quarterbacks in that class. I always thought that it was going to be, it's always tough to take two quarterbacks, because who's going to be that second guy? Who's going to be the guy, especially when you have Tua already committed? You have a guy who is an elite quarterback, coming in from Hawaii. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows that he's one of the top quarterbacks in the country. But Mack Jones had that confidence. He had that swagger. He was borderline cocky. People probably don't see that now from Mack, but I remember seeing him at the Rivals camp at the 5-star challenge over in Atlanta, and he was, he knew that he was going to be the starting quarterback at some point at Alabama, and he just always had that confidence about himself, and obviously he waited his turn, and look what happened. He wins the Davey O'Brien Award, was a Heisman Trophy finalist, and is certainly getting all the recognition that he deserves this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're still waiting on some more awards to come down, and we're keeping an eye on that right now. Alabama expecting to win some more awards tonight, and
Outland Trophy.
Yeah,
Alex Leatherwood.
Did he win it?
He just won it.
Okay, well then there we go. You're a little bit ahead of me right now, but Alex Leatherwood, Alabama, offensive tackle, offensive lineman for the Crimson Tide, the big fella, number 70 with the Outland Trophy. This is a really prestigious award, Bone. I mean, I always go back to Chris Samuels. You remember Chris Samuels, Big Chris? Didn't he win one in 1999?
Who's Chris Samuels? No, Chris was in my he was in my book. He was one of the chapters in my book, The Road to Bama. So it was awesome, talking to him about his recruitment, and now you go from him all the way to Alex Leatherwood. Now, obviously, we had some Outland Trophy winners in between, but this is the next one. And Alex was. Man, I'll tell you what, he was a hoss in high school. I mean, people look at him now, and I mean, he looked about the same in high school as he does now. He's a little bit more filled out and a little bit more toned, but man, back in high school, he was an absolute beast. I mean, he was a 5-star recruit, one of the absolute best. I think he was actually the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, according to Rivals.com. I think he was in the top. I want to say he was the top 5, maybe number 4 overall in the Rivals 100 during his senior year. And man, he lived up to the expectation. Yeah, you always look at a lot of these players, and you rank them really high, but are they going to live up to that hype? And Alex Leatherwood certainly did. His recruitment was pretty interesting because, it seemed like it was between Alabama and Florida throughout. He committed kind of early to Alabama, but Florida kept pushing. And, he took a couple visits down to Gainesville, and, people thought that he was going to flip. And I think even after he signed, he ended up taking a trip over to Florida just for their spring game. And for some reason, people thought he was going to flip even after he signed. But,
where did he go to high school?
He's from Pensacola. What high school was he at in Pensacola?
Another big
Washington High School in Pensacola.
There's another offensive lineman that was a 2-time All-American from Pensacola that played.
Man, give me a harder one than that. Come on, man. Our boy Mike Johnson.
That's right, Mike Johnson.
Pine Forest High School.
That's right. You jump in here for a second. What do you think the impact of these 2 big awards is so far tonight?
I think, so far when you have Alex Leatherwood and you have Mack Jones, I think those guys, these guys are the vets of the program, right? Going into this game, this is what you want. You want that senior, that upperclassman leadership. I mean, Alex Leatherwood was a starting tackle during the national championship game when Tua Tagovailoa led Alabama from that come from behind victory over Georgia. So Alex Leatherwood's been around for quite a long time. Came in as a 5-star, as Bone talked about. This guy's been all business. This guy has played in so many games. He has so much experience, and this is the type of guy you want your offensive line anchored around. I think Kyle Flood certainly has done a great job, but you look to the vets of this entire offensive line unit, and they're really been what's catapulted this offense. You look at Evan Neal as a tackle. You look at Alex Leatherwood as a tackle. You look at Deontay Brown. He's an upperclassman. You look at Landon Dickerson. He's up for an award tonight. He's an upperclassman. So overall, I'm really not surprised to see Alex Leatherwood getting some love. I'm really happy because all season long, we talk about Jalen Waddle. We talk about Devonta Smith. We talk about Mack Jones. Those guys, we talk about Naji Harris, right? Those guys wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for this young man right here, right? They wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for Landon Dickerson, Emil Ikior. It all starts out front. Everybody says that's cliche to say. Take one of those lines, take 2 of these linemen out and see how good this offense is. I'm serious. Take Alex Otherwood out, take Evan Neal out, and let's see if you can win the Heisman Trophy Award. And that's no disrespect to Mack Jones, to Devonta Smith. Those guys know it. Nick Saban knows it. So every single time when you start talking about the offensive skill guys, look, I love a kick return. I used to be a wide receiver. I love to catch passes, but I know one thing is for sure. You do not go anywhere without a talented offensive line. And Alabama won the Joe Moore Award, which is a fantastic award. I'd put it up there with, some of the major awards in college football because, like I just said, you do not go anywhere without the big uglies.
Well, here we go. We got Will Reichert in the mix here for the Lou the Toe Grozo Award. And momentarily, Bone, you're a little bit of ahead of me right now. So
you didn't win it.
You don't see me celebrating.
Yeah, so you guys are ahead. It was still a great season. I mean, it tells you a lot when your kicker is down to 3 to win the kicking award at Alabama, especially with what we've been through the last couple of years.
Right. I think anybody who anybody that's an Alabama fan, going into this season, if you would have told them that Will Reichert was going to be a finalist for the Lou Groza Award, they would have told you you're crazy. This is a unbelievable accomplishment for Will, and you can imagine he's probably going to be the front runner for it. Next season, but hasn't missed a kick. Knock on wood, but hasn't missed a kick yet this season. So hopefully that will continue. But what an unbelievable year, especially after after all the past kicking flops for Alabama. Yeah, I'll never forget being at one of his high school games during his senior season, and I saw a coach from Alabama there, and a coach from Alabama told me at the time, he said, this guy would start for us today. And we wish he was at Alabama tomorrow kicking for us. So I had a feeling that they knew that he was going to be pretty special. And I kept talking him up. I talked him up so much. I said, this is going to be a day one starter. If you went back and looked at my superlative story from his year, my day one starter was Will Reichert, and he started from day one, but ended up having the injury last year and missed the whole season. So everybody kept asking me, well, when will Alabama have a good kicker? When will they have a good kicker? Well, they have one. That's what I kept telling them. Just let him get healthy and see what he can do. But there was never really any doubt where he was going to go to school once he got that offer from Alabama. Hoover High School has been pretty kind to Alabama through the years, and they got another great one in Will.
Well, here we go. Up next, the Biletnikoff Award, the top receiver in the country. Kyle, I would be just shocked if Davonte Smith would win the Heisman and then not win the Best Receiver Award. But I got to tell you, there's some really good receivers that are finalists here.
Yeah, there is. But I mean, there's also a young man out there that caught 105 receptions and has 22 total touchdowns on the season. So I already have the graphic ready. I'm just waiting for the official word. And that's no disrespect to any of the wide receivers out there. I mean, every single year, of course, there's always these guys that come up. Look, I thought, honestly, one of the best wide receivers, he's not technically a wide receiver, is Kyle Pitts out of Florida. I love those big, kind of wide receiver tight ends that you can create mismatches with. For example, I think Alabama has someone in the making in Jaleel Billingsley. I think they can get really creative with him and watch for him to do something special in the national championship game. He's not there just yet, but he's still a big time playmaker. But you look to Eric Gilbert, you look to Kyle Pitts, Brevin Jordan out of Miami. Those are the type of guys that I really like to see kind of split up on the outside because they're mismatch problems. But I think, kind of the Balitnikoff goes to the top wide receiver. Everything that Devonta Smith does is just fantastic in the sense that he just works so hard. And the best thing about him is he's just all business, right? They asked him in the Heisman Trophy, after the Heisman Trophy, they're like, what'd you do after you won the party? He's like, or the award. He's like, I just went home, went to bed. The dude's like, next question. No comment. Yeah. He's just always like about the next play. You want to like see this dude. Like, I'd be curious just to see if he ever just, kind of relaxes maybe at some point, but the guy is all full steam ahead. And, the Biletnikoff Award would be another great honor for any guy to bring home for Alabama, along with that Heisman Trophy. So I have the graphic ready. I'll be completely shocked if he doesn't pull it in.
Look at you over there calling your shot. Andrew Bone, Kyle Henderson, I'm Mick Gillespie. Hey, we appreciate all of you guys joining us for Awards Night here on BamaInsider.com. As you watch our YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate all of you guys being with us tonight as we watch with you and just kind of go over these players as they come on. Andrew Bone, I know that you're expecting that it'll be Devonta Smith for the Biletnikoff, right? I mean, not Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore is a great receiver. There's a couple great receivers in the NFL right now from Ole Miss. It's crazy how good DK Metcalf and AJ Brown were. Can you imagine? Both of those guys, were very high in Alabama. AJ Brown, had Alabama in his top two. A lot of people thought he was going to Alabama at one point in his recruitment. That would have been crazy if Alabama would have been able to get him as well. But ends up going to Ole Miss. Now Ole Miss has another superstar receiver. He's great. I mean, Moore is I think he's gonna have a great NFL career. But Smitty's gonna win it. I'd be shocked if he didn't. There's another receiver in college football.
Guys, I'm getting cocky.
Well, we're about to find out, but we're pretty cocky about him winning the Heisman Trophy. If he doesn't win the Balitnikoff, then he's a little nuts. But
Kyle's got the graphic. You're over here expecting it. We're going to find out here shortly. I guess look, it would be crazy if he didn't win at this point.
Oh yeah, well, it would be shocking if he didn't win. But
Alabama under Nick Saban has had some amazing receivers, and I never thought of Alabama as a school with big time receivers before Nick Saban arrived. He changed that when they were able to sign Julio Jones out of Foley, Alabama. That move right there changed it all. And then Amari Cooper won national championships. He's in the NFL. Calvin Ridley, and then Alabama went 4 for 4. I mean, talking about just an amazing foursome, a deck of aces, if you will, with the receiving core they had last year with Henry Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy and Jalen Waddle and the Heisman Trophy winner Devonta Smith. So here we go. The Balitnikoff Award would be for Smitty, another feather in his cap on the year. And what's crazy, Bone, is I feel like really any of those receivers could have won this award.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Alabama's it's been a lot of fun watching these wide receivers through the years. I was there during the during the Shula years. Didn't have a lot of excitement. You did have DJ Hall and Keith Brown, burning that Florida secondary in 2005. But there it is, right there, Davonte Smith, Biletnikoff Award winner. How about that? So
glad that we have Bone, who's television.
I'm ahead of you guys.
Right ahead of everyone else, because he hasn't been actually announced yet on my TV, but I see him on the board here. Now, congratulations, guys. You're both 100% correct with this year's Biletnikoff Award winner, Davonte Smith. What a year it's been for him, Kyle.
Yeah, some of my favorite moments about Devonta Smith is like as he heated up during the season, right? You look at the stats on the screen. His PFF grade, his Pro Football Focus grade is ridiculous. It's a 94.0, which is like, it's not even good. That's like extreme. But there was my favorite plays was when he would get so open that there was like no one around him. And you're like, this is the best wide receiver in college football. Shouldn't we be like double teaming him? And still he finds a way to just get completely wide open. And those are some of my favorite plays. Of course, I think when I think back at Smitty's career, and I know he doesn't like to talk about 2nd and 26 because there's always another play, but I'll remember that, and I'll remember the punt return, and I'll also remember this key moment. And I think when he decided to come back for this season, a lot of people were probably questioned him. I think maybe I did at some time. I get it. There was a lot of good receivers, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs here, trying to figure out where's he going to go in the draft. And this guy comes back, and I think I said it at the time. I was like, there's no way that this guy's going to catch for more than 1,200 yards, what he did during his junior season. Guy comes back, and he's like, no, I'll catch for 1,600 yards, 105 receptions, 20 touchdowns. I mean, he's the Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, think about all the wide receivers that have come through Alabama, right? Amari Cooper, Julio Jones, the guys I just mentioned, and to have Smitty put together probably the best season ever out of all those guys really says something.
Andrew Bone, he had the signature catch against LSU. I thought the biggest play of the season to me, I'll just put it like this. The minute I realized that he needed to be in the Heisman Trophy talk was the little screen pass he's blocking against Auburn and then catches a 5-yard pass, pulls off from blocking, catches the pass, and goes like 65 or 70 yards for a touchdown. And I'm thinking, this guy's just different, to be able to do all those things. And you don't see that a lot, where you sell the blocking, you pop out, catch it, and then no one can touch you. Then he had the signature catch against LSU. Remember, this year, that was the very next week. And it feels like ever since that catch, he really has put himself as one of the front runners for this award. But, he had a huge game for Alabama against Florida. He had a huge game with 3 touchdowns for Alabama in the college football playoff against Notre Dame. That won't even factor into this award.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's had an unbelievable season, and his career is just, it's just special. It was a special career. From that, you talked about the 2nd and 26, but what I'll always remember is he didn't have a lot of receptions as a true freshman. I think he had only about 15 receptions, but he also had a game winner against Mississippi State that year over in Starkville, which was I remember being at a bar in Nashville with some friends, and there was about 5 or 6 Alabama fans in our group, and then it was all Tennessee and Mississippi State fans, and man, did they hate our crew. And yeah, there was a lot of I was about to say one word, but I'll say crap talking going on. Everybody loving that Alabama was about to lose the game, and people were kind of running their mouths at the group that I was with. But then they kind of shut up after Smitty caught that touchdown pass. With about, I want to say there was about 20 seconds left to go in the game, and took the lead, and that was it. And obviously, he had another big catch to close out his freshman season. So, what a remarkable career! It's been a lot of fun watching this go. I think a lot of Alabama fans are going to be sad to see him leave. But you know what? We've said that when Julio left, when Calvin Ridley left, when Amari Cooper left, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs left. They just keep reloading. They keep having unbelievable players come in and make their mark and continue. A lot of these guys have some big shoes to fill, but they continue to fill them and continue to play at a high level and continue to have a tremendous amount of success. I know it's a long shot to probably see Jalen Waddle come back, but can you imagine if Jalen decided to come back next season, and what kind of a season he would have, or what kind of season would he have had if he didn't have that injury? Would we be talking about Jalen Waddle as the Heisman winner or the Balitnikoff winner? I mean, I think it's very possible because he was having that type of season. But for Smitty to finish out his career the way that he has, got to give mad props to him. A lot of respect. One of the best receivers to ever do it at the college level.
Some big awards already tonight for Alabama. That includes the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback Award to Mack Jones, the Outland Trophy Best Interior Lineman, Alex Leatherwood, and they just announced that the Biletnikoff Award top wide receiver went to Devonta Smith. So Alabama picking up the hardware as we expected. Bone, I love talking Alabama football with you because, I mean, you and I both are kind of OGs to this, and you talk about like this receiver and this receiver. To me, it all started with Julio Jones, but I really feel like it was Amari Cooper's work ethic that set the standard of, okay, this is how you're going to do it. Julio Jones has more talent than any of the other receivers I've ever seen. He's big and strong and fast. And I'm not saying that he doesn't work hard, but I remember watching Amari Cooper kind of take this catches and run routes and work ethic thing to the next level. And it almost feels like that set off the Calvin Ridley. He followed suit, same way. And now Davonte Smith, same way.
Yeah, and it also, opened up, the pipeline to South Florida for Alabama when Amari Cooper committed. Alabama started, racking in. They got, Calvin Ridley, and then they ended up getting Jerry Jeudy. Got a couple, they have 3 receivers in this recruiting class from the Sunshine State, all in the Rivals 100. I mean, you got to get that Florida speed, on the field, and Alabama has done a tremendous job, poaching that talent from the state of Florida, especially in South Florida. And Amari was, obviously a special football player and still is, and he certainly helped Alabama in terms of Julio was that guy, but a lot of people saw Julio as, well, he was the number 1 recruit in the state of Alabama, Nick Saban's first full year. This kid wasn't going anywhere else. He was going to Alabama. Of course, Oklahoma was pretty high on his list, but then you go and get a elite, 5-star caliber receiver from South Florida. A place is, pretty difficult to recruit. Because you're going up against Miami, you're going up against Florida State, you're going up against Florida. Most of the time these kids are staying in state, but with those programs having some down years, Alabama was able to capitalize and go down there and get those type of players, and obviously they've really opened up the door for all these other tremendous athletes to come in and have a tremendous amount of success. And, even with Devonta Smith, I mean, even though he's from Louisiana, with those guys and the way that he saw, their production on the field, it was certainly a, something that was eye-opening to him, and certainly something that, helped him with his decision when he committed to Alabama back in 2017.
Still some more awards to be given out tonight. The Rimington Award, top center, Alabama, with Landon Dickerson with a chance to win that award. The Doak Walker Award, best running back. Look for Naji Harris to have a shot at that one. And the Jim Thorpe Award, best defensive back. I'm guessing that Patrick Surtain wins that award. I don't think there's a better defensive back in the country than him. But we'll find out as we go through awards night tonight with Kyle Henderson and Andrew Bona. I'm Mick Gillespie. Great to have you here on Bama Insider and the Bama Insider YouTube channel, where Alabama's picked up 3 major awards tonight and looking to add more hardware to the trophy case. I guess this is part of it. Kyle, when you put together a tremendous program, you expect to win games, and when you win games, you win awards.
Yeah, I mean, it all stems from, Nick Saban and everything that he kind of emulates with this program. I mean, this guy, is so focused and gets these guys to where they need to be. And it's really incredible year in and year out, the talent, just like Bone says. I mean, you look to the fact that, everyone gets sad and when you watch Alabama and these players continue to leave, and then you just reload. You look at Alabama's incoming receiver class, which is just ridiculous. I mean, you guys have seen Bone and I talk about those guys many times. I mean, it just the talent coming in is incredible. And Nick Saban continues to, set this program really far apart from the rest of the programs in college football, to be honest. I mean, the way he recruits, the way he has Alabama at a different level, from the way that these guys speak to and address to the media. I mean, these guys are on an entire different level. His organization is top notch. He runs it like an organization. And what he does every single year, really, you see these guys getting these individual awards at the end of the season. And look, these guys don't even like to talk about the individual awards because they're so team driven. Nick Saban has these guys right where they need to be, one game away from the perfect season.
Well, and you've been looking at Alabama, studying Alabama, covering Alabama for a long time. Of these awards, is there one that stands out minus Heisman trophies? And I mean, since you've been covering the team.
I think the Joe Moore Award, it's something that started a few years ago. I think that's been really cool. And I know Coach Saban mentioned it, as an award being more of a group effort than just an individual. So that's been pretty cool to see with Alabama, winning 2 of those awards. It's always fun to watch Alabama win, Heisman trophies and Doak Walker Awards and Balitnikoffs and Jim Thorpe's and all that good stuff. I always like the Outland Trophy. I don't know why, but I've always liked that. And I remember when Andre Smith won it. What was that, back in 2000? Was that 2007 maybe? That was really cool to see because Andre that was one of my favorite recruits to cover throughout high school. I'll never forget going to his press conference on National Signing Day, and he put on the Bear Bryant houndstooth hat. That was a really cool moment. I know that his whole family was really excited about it. And, just to see him, win, Mr. Football in the state of Alabama, go to Alabama, start from day one, have an All-American career, then win the Outland Trophy. That was a really cool moment, just because I think he was one of my favorite recruits to cover throughout high school. And certainly one of the best linemen I ever saw at the high school level. He's still playing in the NFL today. I actually thought he would probably have a Hall of Fame career in the NFL. Probably not going to have a Hall of Fame career, but he's been in the league for several years now, and has had some success, made some money, so good for him. But that was always fun. That was fun for me. I remember when he won that big. It was like the first big award that an Alabama player won during the Nick Saban era. So that was something that's always going to probably stick out in my mind.
Love the super chats, and I want to pull this one back up, Kyle. I saw that you had posted a few minutes ago. This is from our friend Bombs. He says, guys, what a year. Thanks for the hard work. If we could hand out a trophy for Bama YouTube content, you would get it. And I think he's talking to you, Kyle, and you, Andrew. You guys have done a tremendous job of, National Signing Day and covering Alabama, and it's been a lot of fun to jump on here with you as we wait for the next rounds of awards to come out. But that's a pretty high compliment, guys.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that was certainly one of the goals, to start to bring something to our YouTube platform to help convert people back to Bama Insider, to be honest. It's just kind of another avenue to provide our content structure to you right here on YouTube. And I think, we're trying to achieve that every single day with new creative content. And hopefully you give us an opportunity back at Bama Insider. And I think when you get comfortable enough to kind of understand the personalities that we have right here on Bama Insider, whether it's our team coverage, whether it's our call-in shows, whether it's our recruiting coverage with Andrew Bone, you can get that every single day back at Bama Insider. And I know there's a lot of coverage on YouTube, but there's so much more depth back at Bama Insider. So if you want to get behind that premium paywall, the premium sign-up code is simply Roll Tide at checkout. But, we're happy that you're here. And, whenever you want to convert over to a premium subscriber, we'd love for it. There's also a join button at the bottom of this video if you want to show us support. So we're growing as a company rapidly. And, we're always trying to look to that next wave and kind of bring that creative content. So when we see messages like that from Bombs, or when we see super chats out there or thumbs up, we really appreciate it. So it means a lot. And I think we've had a lot of momentum during 2020, and we want to definitely carry that to the next season.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on Kyle, I mean, this is only a small part of what Bama Insider is. The YouTube channel is great. I love, it's a little bit, very personal because you get an up close action with the Bama Insider team. But this is an everyday thing for us on BamaInsider.com. You can ask me a question at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm probably going to respond to you. We have we have a lot of great content over there, and I know there's free stuff out there, but I feel like once you kind of join a community, you're part of it, and it's been great. Yeah, but the YouTube community is awesome. This is not something that I really had much experience in until this year, and we've certainly had a lot of fun doing it. The schedule that we have every single week, just different shows, my recruiting show on Tuesday nights, all the other great content that we put out. It's been a lot of fun, and we also have a great team over there. I mean, it's not just us. We have a lot of other guys over there that are working their butts off every single day to provide the best content on the Alabama football, basketball, baseball, every single part of the Alabama sports you can think of. Our guys are bringing it every single day.
Well, they've just announced the Broyles Award. We knew this, guys, that Steve Sarkisian, now the head coach at Texas, won that. And here we go. You mentioned it, and a little ahead of us right now, but the award for best center is going to go to Landon Dickerson. He is the 2020 Rimington winner. What do you think of that, Bone?
Well, the video they just showed is great. The whole offensive line came out and started dancing with them.
That was cool.
Big Dickerson, man. He's man. I tell you what a unbelievable player. I remember him coming out of high school, and obviously, Alabama was one of his top 5 schools coming out of high school, but they weren't going to get his commitment. He ended up going to Florida State, and I remember when there was some talk about him potentially transferring to Alabama. I was like, man, that kid's good. Like, I think he's just kind of in the wrong situation. He had some injuries while he was at Florida State, and man, he's been awesome. I hate that he suffered that injury to end his career at Alabama, but man, they got it right here in the best center in the country.
Yeah, I figured that he was going to win. I'm delayed, obviously, but I know exactly what you guys are talking about now. He's on there. They're interviewing him on the ESPN, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes his offensive line. Mack Jones is involved. They're all dancing. He's brought a personality to this team that separates them from other teams. People criticize Alabama for being so focused and, not celebrating wins like, maybe other schools would. But it's been this focus. It's not that they aren't enjoying what they're doing. And Landon Dickerson has kind of been at the center, Kyle, of we're going to work hard. We're going to play hard too. And we're going to have a good time winning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy came in just like Bone says, kind of to jump on that. I mean, he came from Florida State, and Florida State, felt that he could be this guy. He never was this guy at Florida State. He was injury plagued, and then he comes to Alabama and, really turns into a very versatile lineman. You saw him at the guard position, and then you saw him really transform into a leader, this last year and kind of be that alpha male that Alabama offense needed. You need an alpha on both sides of the ball, and probably Smitty's that guy as well. So when you have two, even better, right? But I think when you look at Landon Dickerson and everything that he brings to the table from the leadership perspective, kind of that team guy, he was a captain, and that's voted on by the players. And you saw, I think one of the most memorable moments of this entire 2020 season was when he did get injured and the entire team came out just like this, and everyone's patting him on the helmet. Everybody remembers that. And that's a sign of respect. That's the ultimate sign of respect. I haven't seen that many times in college football, to be honest. And I think that really just shows you how important this young man is to the program, what he does, what he means for this team, how hard he works. And you don't just become a leader just because. You become a leader because of hard work, dedication, and because of the work that you put in. And Landon Dickerson having this amazing season didn't end the way that he wanted to personally, but I'm sure if Alabama brings home a championship, he's going to be just as happy.
What was the process?
All-American team?
Okay, is this new right here? Because I see a lot of Alabama players on this.
Yeah, the Walter Camp All-American team's being announced right now, and they just went through the offensive side of the ball, which Mack Jones, Naji Harris, Devonta Smith, Landon Dickerson, Alex Leatherwood, Patrick Surtain Jr., or the second. Those were the Walter Camp All-American team right there.
Some more big awards coming to Alabama. And another night where the Crimson Tide and a lot of the different players are finding that they're going to walk home with, trophies and awards and honors that are going to be with them for the rest of their career.
Walter Camp Player of the Year, Davonte Smith.
Okay, yeah. So now the Walter Camp All-American team and their Player of the Year, Davonte Smith, another huge award for Davonte.
Yeah, I didn't even have a graphic for that one. I mean, we're just going to just show another image of him just doing some damage against someone and just kind of talk about it over. I mean, what more can you say about Smitty, right? I mean, look at this photo. And the thing that's sad about this photo is look at the fans, right? It was so sad to not see fans in the stands this year. I mean,
that is not 2000.
Right? Look how sad that is. And it's just like, when you go to these games and I hope whenever we get back to normal, the stands are absolutely packed. Like you can't even get in, because I think there came to a time when I was going to the games here at Bryant-Denny Stadium that Alabama was just rolling, right? And you're so used to just this normalcy that, sometimes fans will bail out or whatever. But I think when the world gets back up, I think you're not going to be able to get in because it's been taken away. So sometime maybe that will be a positive, because these young men deserve to play in front of, there's nothing like playing in a Saturday night at night in Tuscaloosa, especially when they put on those lights. Seriously, it was a whole different dynamic. So, Davonte Smith winning another award, not surprised.
Well, it's a huge night for Alabama. One of the greatest nights that they're going to have in the history of the school, really, when you get down to it, all these awards that they're winning. They've had great nights before, but this Alabama team and this season, obviously, is special. And Bone, you've been covering this program for a long time. Where do you rank this season?
Well, they got to win it. They got to win it all come Monday. Then we'll talk about it. That year that Alabama lost in the national championship to Clemson. I thought that was one of the best seasons ever for Alabama. And people don't talk about it because they didn't win the national championship. They didn't finish. Deshaun Watson throws that pass to Hunter Renfrow on 1 second left to go in the game. Regardless of what you think may have happened, the push off or whatever, Alabama still lost, and we don't talk about that team as one of the best teams ever because they didn't win the national championship. They got to win the national championship Monday for them to be considered, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, this is one of the best, most potent offenses I've seen. It's just, especially, and it starts with up front. That offensive line, we've seen tonight, Outland Trophy winner, Rimington Award winner. I mean, these guys are, absolute maulers, and they're I think, obviously they're the reason why Alabama has had so much success. Mack Jones has the time to throw the ball. Naji Harris has holes to run through. This offensive line is a special unit, and I want to say that this offensive line class that Alabama just signed, a couple of weeks ago, or I guess last month now. This is a special group of kids coming in with J.C. Latham and Tommy Brockermeyer and James Brockermeyer, Jaden Roberts, T.J. Ferguson. There's a lot of expectations in this class. Can they live up to the hype? Because this offensive line class this offensive line class this year was certainly special, and there's going to be a lot of people expecting Alabama not to miss a beat once these kids get on campus. There may be some learning curves. Keep in mind, these guys are just freshmen, but in the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to be a special group on the offensive front once again for Alabama.
Bone, we appreciate it. I know you stayed overtime with us on the show tonight, but it's been a lot of fun hearing from you and getting your perspective on all of these different awards that Alabama is picking up. I know it's deep in your heart. You bleed that crimson, don't you?
Born in Tuscaloosa, so I've been around it my whole life, and it's been a lot of fun the last the last several years covering Alabama with Nick Saban. The Shula years, wasn't a lot. My early years in the recruiting industry. It was hard to, I was writing about a lot of 3-stars back then. So it's been a lot more fun writing about 5-stars all the time. And
right.
Talent. So I appreciate it, guys. You guys have a good one. Everybody watching the show, thank you so much. You're the guys that make our channel special. So thank you so much.
All right, he's Andrew Bone, our recruiting expert here on Bama Insider, the Alabama rival site, and he has been with us actually longer than anyone else. He's kind of the grandfather of this site, if you really want to get down to it.
Yeah, you see the gray in my beard now?
Yeah, I see that. All right,
see you guys.
Take care. Kyle, anything that you haven't seen tonight that you expected?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think kind of looking at Will Reichard, I wish, that would have broke the internet. I don't think anything on here is going to be too shocking. I'm waiting to see kind of this Doak Walker Award, which would be for, the top running back. I certainly feel that Naji Harris needs that award. I think kind of everything that he's done this year, the whole campaign, I think he certainly earns it. I think he earned a seat at that Heisman Trophy table, right? I mean, 27 total touchdowns. Everything that he's done this season has been really incredible. So I think that would really be the exclamation point on tonight, because I think everybody wants Naji, and they know that he deserves some sort of award. Look, he probably doesn't care about it, but I think he deserves it just because of the work that he's put in. You're looking at a running back who's, put in 4 years of work. He has a touchdown record and the most rushing yards above Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram. I mean, everybody knows who Derrick Henry is, right? Everybody knows who Mark Ingram is, right? Yeah, Naji Harris above both of those guys. So, can't say much more than that.
Why do you think he didn't get the push for the Heisman until late? Because I felt like he had a good start to the season and that he should have been considered. He had the Heisman moments. He had the great plays. He scored the touchdowns. He had a game where he scored 5 touchdowns in one game. It just didn't feel like he really got a lot of momentum until towards the end of the season. It was just too late.
I don't know. I mean, it could be, for various reasons. I think, one particular reason is because Alabama has an arsenal to choose from. You look at kind of Mack Jones in the season that he had, 4,000 yards. Are you kidding me? You look at the season that Devonta Smith had, 100 receptions. Are you kidding me? So it's like you can only, kind of favor one particular guy. And look, it's not really a running back's world anymore. And that's weird to say because Alabama is running back you, and they're going to be running back you. But this is about receivers. This is about quarterbacks. And, it's usually a quarterback award. I mean, look, the last wide receiver to win the Heisman Trophy came in 1991, right? Look, wow. I don't know. I mean, do you even remember where you were in 1991? I mean,
I remember watching Desmond Howard play, and I remember his season. But to be honest, I'm trying to think. I mean, I was pretty little back then.
I'll tell you exactly where I was. I was 1991. In 1991, I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I was going to elementary school at Kearney Elementary, where the Raiders. And I remember having a Desmond Howard poster because I love Desmond Howard, and then I love Randy Moss, and I love Jerry Rice. So those are all my guys. I was a huge wide receiver guy, so those are the guys that I had posters of. And I remember Desmond Howard with the pose. And I still have, right here in my office, I still have NCAA football 2014 that I still have a dynasty on. So, yeah, I still get on the sticks. I still play FIFA, soccer. When I do have spare time, which is rare because if anybody knows me, I'm all gas, no breaks. I've been working since 5 a.m. And that's just kind of how I roll. But, kind of getting back to 1991 in the receiver award, I mean, it comes seldomly. So my point is getting back to Najee Harris. I mean, he certainly needs this running back award. I think he's earned it. He's had an incredible year. I love the guy. I'm going to miss his sound bites because he's a guy who's really comfortable in his own skin. Completely different interview from him to Devonta Smith, right? I mean, just completely different guys. I love, just his vibe that he brings, that whole West Coast vibe. I spent some time. I lived out in California, so I have a lot of appreciation for Northern California and the type of people who are out there. And, the season that he's done, has been really incredible. And I'm certainly going to miss watching Najee Harris.
Trey Hannity rejoins the show, and we appreciate all of you guys. Before we talk back to Trey again, thanks for watching. This is the Alabama rival site, Bama Insider. We appreciate all of you, as I mentioned before, and I've said it over and over tonight and on all of our shows, because you guys have made this YouTube channel hot. Your subscriptions, your thumbs up, the algorithm that it creates when you're here hanging out with us brings more people in, and that's what we're all about. Also, go to BamaInsider.com to find out the latest on recruiting, on Alabama football. We cover it like no one else. You want the nuggets, you want the inside scoop, we got it all right there. And as a subscriber, which really isn't even that much, it's well worth it. You get all of those things, and then you get to swing over here and hang out with us. Want to ask all of you guys, too, on Sunday night, 6 o'clock, make sure you check out the show, the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Very near and dear to my heart, but Kyle and Trey are part of that show. We put a lot of work into it. It's a love. I brought it over here. It's how I got started on this channel. And we're going to be at Innisfree in Tuscaloosa, brought to you by Screwball, Peanut Butter Whiskey, and Yingling. So we're going to have some fun watching the NFL and talking about Alabama football. Then that show will air on Jocks 2, 1 to 3 on game day. So that's Monday. All right, Trey Hannity, your thoughts on what Alabama has been able to accomplish tonight, the awards, and really with some more to come. Where do you think this one ranks for the Crimson Tide?
I think our good buddy's muted. Okay.
Well,
let's get him unmuted. We'll come back to him, Mick.
Yeah, he's got to unmute his button. But when he does, we will be there. He is. Hey, what's up,
guys? What's going on? Sorry.
You missed that great handoff, too. I threw you a wonderful pass, and you were really killing it. I could read your lips.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think a flag was thrown or something. We'll run it back here.
Wait, hold on. We got the Doak Walker. So before you start, let's just see. Right. We need Bone, because he's like ahead of us. So if you're there inside the comment box, let us know before we know. This is the one that I'm really waiting on right here. So sorry to kind of interrupt, but I'd be really upset if Naji doesn't pull this in.
Travis Etienne of Clemson has
solid running back. Love him.
He's had a great season. We saw him in the national championship game. He's really good, but I just think Naji has had the moments. The leap in the Notre Dame game, which won't really even factor in this award, but that was kind of the icing on the cake. He's had the big games. He can catch the ball. He's blocked. He's so likable, his personality. And so, Kyle, right when you thought maybe they were about to tell you, they went to commercial.
I know the suspense is killing me, and they know they know what we want to see. I mean, come on, they know that the ratings are up for Najee Harris, so let's see what happens. But either way, I think when you look to big time players come Monday night, I mean, you gotta circle Najee Harris. I mean, yes, Devonta Smith is going to do his thing, Mack Jones is going to do his thing, and I guess Jalen Waddle as well. I mean, I think we're kind of getting more comfortable feeling that he's going to play. Nick Saban said he didn't have a crystal ball. I love that today. But Najee Harris is a guy who's always productive. I mean, he's a guy who can take the air out of the game in the later part of the game. He's a home run hitter. He's ran very hard. And don't forget about the running backs behind him. I mean, Brian Robinson has done a great job stepping in and giving him a blow, and he's run hard. And then the younger running back, Jace McClellan, has been that guy that we're all kind of looking forward to as that freshman who really pops out. I think this is really interesting, and I want you guys to listen to this. It's very important, okay? Najee Harris to say, you guys have been asking me about one thing all season long, Killen Robinson, right? What's the update on Killen Robinson? What's the update on him? Well, guess who mentioned him the other day during this press conference that was on Wednesday? Najee Harris. So that tells you that Killen Robinson will be back next season, okay? Because Najee Harris mentioned him. He mentioned him in that younger group of running backs. If Najee Harris didn't think, that this guy was coming back, or if he's going to transfer out or something like that, he wouldn't have mentioned him, in my opinion. So I thought that was a really important nugget to kind of listen to. When you listen to these players speak, and he mentioned Killen, I think that was a really big update yesterday.
Well, we're waiting on the award for the best running back, and Alabama and Ohio State play on Monday, and it gives me an opportunity to talk about the watch party. I mean, this is going to be the championship game of watch party. Trey and I are going to start the watch party early, Kyle, before your house. We're going to be at Rounders on the Strip. And then we're gonna have a little Chris Lowe action in there from ESPN, and that's gonna lead right into Kyle and you watching the game at the studio. Like, what was it, like 67,000 people did last time? Watch the show, and then right into the post game show with Kyle Henderson. I mean, this is gonna be about as good of a national championship game as you could possibly have right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an action-packed day. I mean, we'll have blanket coverage every single day, and definitely, stick around because we have tons of coverage, and don't get tired of, these videos. I mean, look, there's 2 football teams left that are playing. All these other, teams out there, they're running out of content to talk about. They're already talking about basketball. We're not talking about, but look, Alabama basketball, they're having a fine season, by the way. So credit to Nate Oates, because we all saw them take down Tennessee and then they thrashed Florida. So, we'll transition into basketball at some point, but these guys are playing for the national championship, and, it's on Monday. So don't get tired of the coverage. Continue to hit those thumbs up because, the days are limited with the 2020 season as we pour into 2021. So, they're switching to Coach of the Year. They're not going to, did we miss it?
I don't think we missed it yet. I think that
easiness.
Yeah, I think this is a little trickeration here.
It's all
Coach
about the
of the Year.
suspense.
Okay, you know where that lives. It's a shrine over here outside of Bryant-Denny. It's Coach of the Millennium. You got Tom Manning, I guess. No, who is this for Iowa State? I don't even know who the awards are. I mean, the Coach of the Year is clearly Nick Saban, but he's not. I don't think he's going to win this award, right?
It's the Bama fatigue. We always talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
people are
Reese Davis on there? Isn't that Reese Davis or is that Chris Fowler?
Reese Davis, yeah, Alabama alum right there.
Yeah, Alabama alum. I thought that was Reese. I just caught it out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, Alabama alum and someone who has made just an absolute success out of their career. It's great to have him on Saturdays and today giving the awards out. All right, well, quickly, Trey, as we wait on this award that we're hoping that Najee Harris wins, obviously. Tell your thoughts on everything that has transpired tonight. Anything that you saw that you didn't see so far with some awards left?
If there's one award I want to highlight, it's that Groza Award. Will Riker did everything in his power. I mean, literally, he didn't miss a kick this season. He went 90 for 90, 77 extra points made, 13 field goals. The 2 guys he went up against each missed 2 kicks. One of them missed 2 extra points. The winner missed 2 field goals. So that's a tough one just because that's a position Alabama struggled with. Finally, this season, they had the guy. Probably deserved that award. Doesn't get it. That's all right. Alabama's now claimed, 5, 6 of these things. They're running out of space. I think the Malmore renovations were to clear out some room for new trophy cases and whatnot. But, just another great night for this program. Another great night in this season where Alabama seems to be doing everything right, seems to be winning, in every way they can. Just one more to go on Monday as far as the games go, but the Doak Award coming up here soon for Naji Harris and the Coach of the Year award. Now, I can't tell if they've given it to Chadwell yet. I know he's a nominee. They're showing some videos of the Coastal Carolina head coach.
What's their mascot?
The Chanticleers.
Love it.
It's a classic one. Yeah, it's a fun program. It was, maybe just an hour before one of our Bama watch parties this year. We got to watch that team knock off BYU. That's a fun program. That's, really made a splash this season.
But you know who they were bested by? They were bested by in the end, Liberty and Hugh Freeze, right?
Yes.
And they were saying today on VolQuest, our sister site on the Tennessee, they're saying hiring Freeze, and then they zoomed in on Freeze. Does that mean potentially Hugh Freeze? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's something for another time, but there's a lot going on in Tennessee, obviously.
Hiring Freeze, like we're not hiring anybody.
Yeah, but they zoomed in on Freeze. I'm not kidding. Yeah. Some social media genius did that.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. No one makes hype videos better than Tennessee. Ball Productions, man, those guys kill it. You watch those videos and you're like, man, this is the best team ever. Just gotta figure out a way for them to do it out on the football field. But Jamie Chatwell, who's from 30 minutes outside of Knoxville, who just won the Coach of the Year award, turned Coastal Carolina into a national brand. He could be somebody, really not to get into this discussion now, but that maybe Tennessee looks to in the future. We're talking Alabama, though, and the Crimson Tide tonight trying to add more to the trophy case. They've already had a great night, and when you talk about some of the awards that you can go ahead and mark down, it includes the quarterback award that was given out tonight, the Davey O'Brien Award, best quarterback, Mack Jones. It was an Outland Trophy for Alex Leatherwood. That was a big award. The Balitnikoff Award, top wide receiver, went to Davonte, the Slim Reaper Smith. And, and Alabama is just hoping that they can continue. The Rimington Award, that's the best center, went to Landon Dickerson. And I feel like I'm missing one.
Walter Camp Player of the Year, maybe?
Did you get Outland?
Oh, and that's it. The Outland with Alex Leatherwood.
Maybe Trey, maybe make the banner and let's. Do we have all of them in?
Yeah, I think we're good to go here. We got, I believe, 5 awards now, which is just a crazy number to think about. I mean, we came into the night, I think with the idea that this was possible, and all these players were super deserving. But it's great to see the awards officially given out. I think that Outland one is another one you really look at, as we get close to this running back award given away here in just a minute. That's one, I think is more deserving than the rest because Landon Dickerson has been such a big part of this offense. That line as a whole doesn't get enough credit, and he's been the heartbeat. It's so unfortunate he won't be able to be a part of this playoff, but, at least getting some credibility here with the Outland Trophy.
And so I think the final award. Yeah, I think the final 2 are the Doak and then the Maxwell. Maxwell is kind of like the all-purpose player, whatever. So I think those are the 2 that we're waiting on. Just if you're out there just wondering.
Fingers are crossed. A lot of these trophies are so cool. Like, I mean, it's like I love the Heisman, but you look at these trophies, it's like the same thing. It's like a bronze man, like stiff arming someone kicking or, it'd be no matter how prestigious of an award you win in the future, some of these they just look great.
And here it is.
So Breece Hall of Iowa State is the other running back with ETN and, of course, Harris.
There it is, Naji.
And it is Naji Harris to win the Doak Walker Award. And that was before he had the moment where he just absolutely hurdled Notre Dame defensive back in that 31-14 win. But this is another huge award. And so tonight, the big 3 for Alabama have all won major awards, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, this is I'm really pleased because, as I've been talking about Najee Harris, I just have so much respect for his game and just all the craft that he's put into being the player that he is today. I mean, you look at the stats on the stat line right here: 229 attempts, 1,300 yards, 24 rushing touchdowns, 36 receptions for 346 yards with an additional 3 touchdowns. The performance that really blew me away for Naji this year was against Florida. I think he set himself apart in that game. I think he told the country that he's the best running back, period, in college football. The guy came back when he didn't have to. I think it was a brilliant move. The guy has, exemplifies leadership, hard work, and now sitting up with the Doak Walker. Just really pumped up because Najee Harris certainly deserved this, and what a great moment for the young man.
Yeah, it doesn't quite cap off a big night at May, but it's good to see him get the recognition as well. So Alabama heads into this game against Ohio State, winning most of the hardware, the national hardware, along with the Heisman Trophy and the Johnny Unitas Award. Tonight's been a big night for them. But Trey, Najee Harris, maybe the greatest running back in Alabama history. At least he's had the greatest career of any running back in Alabama history.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny at this point the things that he's able to do. And you even look past the numbers, just the ability that he has as a football player, just as an athlete, is insane to think about. That hurdle, against Notre Dame, I think sealed it. But just the plays he's been making throughout his entire career. We saw that one at South Carolina last year that everybody remembers, 4th down, little dump off, breaks tackles, spins, hurdles, scores the touchdown. He's just so dedicated to this game, and it's paid off. He was a guy that was a 3rd-string running back in a very talented class. He obviously took lessons from Damian Harris and, has just grown and gotten better. And we saw the same with the guy that was also up for this award in Travis Etienne at Clemson, but he decided, like Najee, to come back and didn't have that big senior season. It's a risky decision to make, to take the cash or to come back for one more year, and it really panned out for Najee Harris. He probably should have been a Heisman finalist, and in most years, I think would have been. Even could have won this award in most years. But, the Doak Trophy is going to look nice on his trophy shelf. It's not the Heisman, but, this is a well-earned award. And I think one that people are going to remember for a long time because Najee Harris really separated himself as the best running back in the country this season.
Well, we're closing in on the final award to be given out tonight, and it's been a lot of fun seeing Alabama continue the momentum that they've had throughout this entire award season. But if they don't win the national championship, Kyle and Bone kind of alluded to that, this season's not going to be a season that Alabama's going to remember as, and I hate to say that because it's unfair, but if they don't win the national championship, it's not going to go down as one of the greatest seasons ever.
Yeah, I mean, you play to win the game, right? You play to win the game. I mean, you gotta end it with the ship. I mean, that's the only way. I mean, all these awards are great and stuff like that, and these guys are fired up and they've worked hard for it. But that, at the end of the day, you want the main goal is perfection, and these guys got to do it against a very angry Ohio State team. So, we'll see what they can do. I mean, these guys are healthy. I mean, look at it. I talked about this on my videos. A lot of the videos that I put up, I like to give credit to Jeff Allen, Dr. Matt Ray, David Ballou, just because Alabama over the course, since I've been covering the team, there's been a lot of injuries every single year. It's like, the team gets depleted by this time. This year, they had Jalen Waddle. They had Trey Sanders. That he wasn't even playing football when he got his injury. And then they had Landon Dickerson at the end of the year. Other than that, this team has been very healthy, which is a credit to the training staff and just all around the organization. I mean, it's really impressive to see how healthy these guys are at this time of year. And I think that'll honestly be the difference maker. Having Jalen Waddle back, having all these guys healthy has been really impressive to see.
Well, Alabama will play 7:00 Central Time in Miami for the national championship against Ohio State. It's been a game that we've kind of felt like was teetering on being moved because of a possible COVID outbreak at Ohio State. But so far, they've seemed to be able to keep this thing on task for Monday, and that'll be good for everyone just to get this season over. And I guess the biggest thing is, maybe with COVID, I mean, you never know who's going to have it. So you try to run from it as much as you can. Alabama has done a tremendous job this year of really limiting the issues with COVID. Let's talk about this football game while we wait for the final awards. Ohio State's pass rush versus Alabama's offensive line. To me, Trey, that's kind of the biggest part of this game that I have question marks, and it's really because the best center in the country, the Rimington Award winner, is not going to be there for Alabama. Chris Owings is going to have to step in again. Did not grade out too fantastically last time by Football Focus, and so I say that with this offensive line that includes the Outland Trophy winner and Alex Leatherwood, that really tough Ohio State defense against Alabama's great offensive line minus their center.
Yeah, you know, it's a huge hit any way you draw it because he's probably the best offensive lineman in the country, Dickerson. But, you know, like you said, you have a guy that just won a big award in the Outland Trophy as well. There's great interior protection for Alabama's line. The tackles have been awesome. And, you know, this offense is just so talented everywhere else. It might not make as much of a difference, you know, in this title game. Mack Jones has been able to handle pressure well. He was blitzed a ton in that semifinal game against Notre Dame and, you know, was able to adjust. He was really able to settle down nicely, make some dump offs where he had to. And I think we'll see a lot of the same in this upcoming game. You know, I really look to the defense more so in this one, and I'm interested in how they come out because they look very solid, you know, throughout the season at times. They had the quarter streak, the scoreless streak there. But, you know, in other games like Ole Miss and Florida and even Notre Dame to an extent, there were drives where you just felt super uncomfortable and felt like they didn't really have a grasp on the scheme or what they were trying to do. And I think that was, you know, kind of a result at the beginning of the season of just some really intense, you know, really just thought out schemes that the defense wasn't quite ready yet. Pete Golding's a great defensive mind and maybe just got a little bit too advanced. They simplified it for Georgia week. They've looked great since then. You know, obviously against Florida, they were burned several times. Kadarius Toney had a day, some other guys as well. So you just got to limit that. You got to limit big days. You know, thankfully Patrick Surtain is going to be locking down a great receiver in, you know, Olave. And there's other talented players on that team too. Trey Sermon, you know, is a guy that I worry about a little bit. But I think this defense is just going to keep it simple in this national title game and, you know, do what they do best, contain, put some pressure on the quarterback. You know, maybe a 50-50 Justin Fields. We'll see how he comes out, how he looks. But, you know, just keep it simple if you're the defense. And I think offensively, do a lot of the same. Don't overthink it. If, you know, Chris Owens maybe struggles like he did against Notre Dame, take a breath in and figure out a way because this offense is too talented not to.
Kyle, these guys, Ohio State, they have players that can really match up with Alabama as we keep an eye on the Broyles Trophy winner, which was from Pitt, Jimmy Morrissey, still waiting for the final awards, though. But they're going to have talent that's equal to Alabama. Their recruiting classes, just like this year, it was Bama 1, Ohio State 2, are as good as anyone.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you know, straight up, these guys are, you know, very dangerous, and you know, we'll see what happens. I think, kind of when I look to this particular game, I look to the trenches, you know, as we always do, and I think that we'll go over the awards. People are asking Mick for you to go over the awards and kind of just recap the awards. We'll do that. Trey has a banner. If you could update that banner at the bottom of the screen, Trey, appreciate that.
The Mack Award went to one of my favorite players to watch, Kyle Pitts of Florida, by the way. Continue.
Oh, great. I mean, that, like I said earlier, that guy's incredible. Oh, Jamie, I disagree. Kyle Pitts is solid. Much respect, though. I appreciate it. I think when you look at Alabama versus Ohio State, and we're waiting on the final awards to be announced, and then we'll peel out of here. I think, you know, you look to the way that Ohio State's defensive line played, and go to BamaInsider.com. I have all the grades kind of stacked, so you can see Ohio State's defensive line versus Alabama's offensive line per Pro Football Focus. And Ohio State's interior defensive pass rush is very dangerous. And you look to Chris Owens, and I think he's going to be a guy. See at the bottom of the screen, fam, that's all the awards that Alabama has won tonight. So in case you're wondering. But getting back to that kind of Ohio State pass rush, if they can keep Mack Jones clean, which they've done this season. I mean, Mack Jones has been fabulous. I think he's only been sacked like 8 times or something like that, which is incredible. If they can keep him clean, then Alabama will be able to distribute the football to Naji Harris, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, and I think they'll be fine because one of the biggest differences in this game is Ohio State's defensive backs grade out like in the 60s. So there's going to be a big mismatch on the outside between Alabama's receivers and Ohio State's corners.
Yeah, and I kind of have that feeling too. But again, as all of you guys watch here, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. And don't forget, you need to make sure that you're with us on game day, because we're going to have coverage that's going to be starting early and often. So we're going to cover Alabama and Ohio State like a blanket right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Two blue blood programs, just like Alabama and Notre Dame. And it's only the fifth time that these two teams have ever played. And last time was in the college football playoff, one of only 3 losses that Nick Saban has had in the college football playoff, 2014 in the Sugar Bowl, a game I was at. And I felt like Ohio State was going into the game should be the much better team. And honestly, it was pretty even matchup. I mean, Ohio State won the game. Blake Sims was at quarterback, and it was really Reggie Ragland getting knocked out at the linebacker spot after Zeke Elliott ran into him, and that changed that game. Then Alabama didn't have an answer for Ohio State. I like the way Alabama matches up a lot better this time around with a Davey O'Brien award-winning quarterback and a Doak Walker winning running back and a Balitnikoff winning wide receiver, as we saw here tonight, including a Heisman Trophy winner and a Broyles Award winning offensive coordinator. As we kind of wait on these final awards, what's the X factor in this game, Trey, between Alabama and Ohio State?
I think the X factor is just figuring out a way to be the better defense at the end of the day. Both offenses are very talented. Both have great skill players, a lot of first-round guys. But I think it's gonna come down to the defense on both sides. We saw Ohio State's defense come out and look like they hadn't all season. They didn't look like that against Indiana or Northwestern. They made a statement against Clemson. I said it earlier on our Monday Night Quarterback show. I don't think this game is nearly as personal for Ohio State. So, maybe the aggression isn't at that same level, but at the same time, you're competing for a national championship. So the stakes are there. Our guys going to be able to control those nerves and, make some big plays. We'll see. But Alabama in their big games this season have gotten big defensive plays, big defensive turnovers, even an offensive turnover there. Shout out to John Mechie. But those turnovers and those big plays on the defensive side of the ball, I think are what are going to make the difference in this one. But I think we're going to be in for a thriller. This is a great matchup. And, one I think the country's been waiting to see in the national title for quite some time.
Still waiting on the Thorpe Award winner, and we're just about to the point where they're going to have to announce that here soon. But it's been an exciting night. I mean, Alabama has done as well as you could possibly do. This is why there is something called Alabama fatigue, Kyle. I mean, when you win award after award after award, not everyone's happy for you.
I mean, honestly, it's incredible to see that, when you cover Alabama football, look, we are just covering the Heisman Trophy. Before that, we were covering a coaching change, Steve Sarkisian. I mean, you turn on ESPN. I mean, what other programs are they talking about? Nobody. Look, all the other programs out there, look, I respect you guys are working. You guys are covering the teams. Nobody matters except Alabama. That's the truth. That's why and it's nobody's fault. Look, Nick Saban has just elevated Alabama to this other threshold of athletics, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Yeah, they could lose from time to time, but nobody cares about any other program. That's why ESPN constantly talks about Alabama every single time you turn on the TV. They win awards in their sleep. You wake up and you're like, oh, they won another award. So that's just part of it. It's Nick Saban. It's the organizational process that he's done. This program is on an entirely different level. Look at the ticker. Look at the bottom level, right? I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been another special night for Alabama, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into winning awards. I mean, and as Nick Saban has talked about before, I mean, it's the result of all of the work that you put in. And obviously when you add the talent to it and the facilities, it makes Alabama a great destination to be recognized. And then these guys are going to go on to the NFL, and they're going to make a lot of money, and they'll play on Sundays. And it's been fun watching the guys leave the Crimson Tide and go to the NFL and dominate there too. You got running backs and wide receivers and now quarterbacks. I mean, every time you turn around, someone else is making an impact at the Sunday level, if you will, the NFL. So just a couple more of awards left. And it's been, I'm guessing that the Thorpe Award is about to come up here shortly. And I'm thinking that Patrick Surtain has a really good chance to win this award.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain. I mean, the guy that, I really like. I mean, the guy that will certainly go to the NFL. His pops played in the league. The guy is a very lengthy corner, which I really like. He's about 6'2", 6'3". Very good corner in space, a great open field tackler. I think the guy is certainly someone who you want on your team on NFL. And here it is, the Jim Thorpe, and we're about to learn that. Doesn't have a lot of interceptions, but he comes up with plays. I mean, the guy is all over the field, very soft-spoken, very humble, and, completely just an incredible corner. I just love his lockdown ability. Now, he's going to have his hands full against Ohio State, so it'll be another opportunity for him to increase his draft stock coming up against Ohio State.
Jim Thorpe, one of the all-time great NFL players, one of the great NFL names, but did it first in college football. You look at the pictures on ESPN, and he just looks like a gristled guy that you wouldn't want to run into in a dark alley, Jim Thorpe. And I love the leather helmet, too. Kyle, you wear one of those on Sundays, don't you?
Yeah, along with my many other helmets. So, look, I mean, people in the comment box are like, so other programs don't matter. Look, I'm just saying it. Look, I know a lot of people don't like to hear it, but I mean, Alabama sells for everybody. That's why you turn on a channel and you're just like, Alabama football, is because, look, that's the program that is playing in the championship. That is the program that is winning the awards. And guess what else they're doing? They're sending players to the NFL in every single NFL draft, not in the third round, not in the fourth round, not in the fifth round, in the first round, every single year. I mean, you guys watched the NFL draft last year, right? I mean, Tua Tagovailoa, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jedrick Wills. I mean, it never stops, and it's not going to stop in 2021. And we're about to transition kind of to our draft coverage pretty soon because guys, Patrick Surtain didn't even win the award. Some guy, this Trevor from TCU did.
Wow. Man,
come on.
That's a little surprising. I mean, this is a Patrick Surtain this season that you didn't hear his name called a lot because they weren't throwing to the receivers that he was covering pretty much ever. It was a great season for Mr. Trevor out there in Texas, but I don't think you can have the kind of season that Patrick Surtain had this year. He's going to go in the top 10 of this NFL draft. Like we're talking about all these NFL guys. This is going to be one of the first ones taken from Alabama. Surprising, if nothing else, he didn't win this award. Deserving for the winner there. But, Patrick Surtain did everything it took.
Well, guys, I think that just about does it for us tonight, right?
We got the Maxwell.
Okay, the Maxwell. So we got one more award left.
That's like the granddaddy. But you know who's going to, right?
I don't know.
I mean, come on, it's Smitty.
The Slim Reaper.
He's won a lot. He's won a lot. Maybe they'll give Mack this one, just for consolation or something.
Oh.
The most frustrated guy right now has got to be Trevor Lawrence because the games that he missed with COVID really cost him the opportunity to win some of these big time awards.
No,
he came in the favorite this year and had a great season, but he missed some games.
Trevor Lawrence, I mean, the guy's going to be – I mean, how much is he going to sign for, though? I mean, the Jaguars are going to take him. Wait, what is he going to make, honestly? Like, what's his signing going to be? I mean, it's going to be pretty incredible. I mean, everybody wants him as the first pick, so, he'll take it. The awards would have been nice, but I'm sure, his, like, $35 million contract or whatever will keep him happy.
Yeah, this is I think for Trevor Lawrence in a regular season, this is a lot different. But he did have COVID this year, no fault to him. But he had to miss those games, and it hurt him. Like Kyle's saying, I don't know. I don't know even if in a regular season if he's able to get the the Heisman moments. These other guys this season, Devonta Smith had plenty of them. Mack Jones, Trevor Lawrence, played in a game this year against Notre Dame, but outside of that. What was the biggest win? Boston College. He just really, I don't think he would have had the moments to get it done. The numbers probably would have done it for him. But we'll see if he wins this Maxwell Award here. The ugly stepsister in this whole thing. Poor Trevor Lawrence.
What do you guys think? How much of the Alabama brand helps you when it comes to these national awards?
I don't know.
Be honest here.
I think it helps and hurts.
Yeah, I think so too. Like for example, Patrick Surtain, he just got robbed. That was kind of the Bama fatigue. Here you go, Maxwell finalist, Mack Jones, Trevor Lawrence, and Devonta Smith. I mean, we were just talking about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he could certainly win the Maxwell because it goes to the all-around player. So maybe if you kind of look at the course of his career, I guess. But then again, you have Devonta Smith right there. His career is pretty impressive too. Plus, he just won the Heisman. So I guess we'll see. This will be our final award of the evening. Will be the Maxwell Award.
I'm like that far behind you because it just popped up on my screen. So I'll be relying on you guys. Alabama, 2 of the 3 finalists in this award. If the trend continues, it would be Devonta Smith. If this was an award for the best collegiate career, I'll tell you, I wouldn't put Mack Jones in there, but Devonta Smith and Trevor Lawrence would have a battle. I mean, you talk about 2 guys who have had just an amazing career. Of course, Devonta Smith made the most of his freshman season, catching game-winning passes against Mississippi State on the road. And then, of course, the game winner against Georgia, the walk-off. Trevor Lawrence led Clemson to a perfect season, beating Alabama for the national championship his freshman season. Took an undefeated Clemson team were they undefeated? Yeah, they were undefeated last year playing against LSU. They lost in the national championship game. And then this year, the only loss he had at quarterback was, on New Year's against Ohio State. So it's like, 34-2 as a starting quarterback. Now, this is a seasonal award. It's a season award. They don't look at all that. But I'm just saying, just for the sake of argument here, you're talking about 2 guys who have had just amazing seasons. And the crazy thing about Smitty is that if it wasn't until Jalen Waddle went down that he was kind of had to emerge as the number 1 target for Alabama. And that's when things started to really take off for him in his career. And he could be drafted as high as 3rd in the NFL draft this year. And so staying in school for him was the best thing he ever could have done, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, he made a great decision, and that's something that Nick Saban even talked about during his press conferences. Look, and this is kind of some inside scoop. So, nugget alert. We need a nugget alert soundbite. So I'll go ahead and add that. So, like nuggets. So after every single game, after the final game of the season, right? So Alabama and Ohio State will play in their game. Literally right after the game, Nick Saban. There you go, Trey. Nick Saban will sit down all the players who are draft eligible, and he will give them their draft grade literally right after, because he doesn't want them to talk to agents. So this happens immediately following the game, and he'll go over where these guys are in the NFL draft, and he'll give them an honest draft grade. And he talks about kind of, where you're at, and if you're not making 3rd round money to come back. So I think he had those discussions with Naji Harris and Devonta Smith, and had those guys come back this season, and look where these guys are going to be now. So Nick Saban cares about these guys, not only from a student athlete standpoint, make sure that, they leave Alabama with a degree, but also make sure that they're set up business wise. And you look at Devonta Smith, you look at Naji Harris or other guys that have come back, it's certainly paid off. Now, it doesn't pay off for everybody. I mean, but in these 2 cases, these are great examples of listening to Nick Saban in a business perspective, because Nick Saban's certainly a great businessman.
And, think about how much this means for the future too. Not just what these guys have done on the field for Alabama in their playing careers, but coming back is, maybe set a new standard for players. These are 2 guys that could have gone, sat very pretty in this last NFL draft, but they decided to come back and had, incredible success, both Najee Harris and Devonta Smith. One of them won the Heisman. So, if you're a player down the road, you look back on this and you think, wow, maybe I should come back and do it again one more time. And, if it's Nick Saban, it's hard not to.
We've had some great winners tonight, and they're scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and still waiting on a couple of more awards. The Maxwell Award, which a lot of times it mimics the Heisman Trophy. Last year, Joe Burrow won the award, the Heisman Trophy winner, and this year the Heisman Trophy winner is Devonta Smith. So, one more award, another cool-looking trophy. These are the names, that go back. You think about the history of college football, and it's these guys that the awards are named after. They have the people's, the guy's likeness on there, and they're about as cool as they come. So love it that Robert Tiny Maxwell is who this award's named after. You got to have a great nickname, which tells me that when you're the Slim Reaper, maybe you're the next guy, Kyle.
I'm going to just I'm feeling good about Slim winning this one. So I like this photo right here. Look at that. That's about as slim as you can get, right? That's a Slim Reaper in his finest.
You look at him and he's a clean cut guy.
I love the velvet. Anytime you roll anywhere in velvet, that's an alpha move, and not a lot of people can do that. You put on velvet, you go somewhere with a bow tie, game over, right? I mean, these two have been in business from day one, and then you roll in the velvet. I mean, nobody's touching you. You put velvet on, it's a whole different level.
He looks like a baby face in wrestling. Like he's the guy you're trying to cheat off of on your test in class. He just has that. He looks like
Look, I like this from Jarvis. The Dapper Reaper.
I agree with that. To think of like the type of football player he is, you wouldn't see that guy and think, hey, this is the best football player in the country. You would think maybe he's just figured out a cure for cancer or something, but does a little bit of everything. And the Maxwell Award winner is the Slim Reaper.
Slim won it. I told you. I had that photo ready to go. I love it.
Well, tonight he didn't have the bow tie. I guess you switch it up. You do bow tie for the Heisman. For the Maxwell, you got to go with the regular tie, the old, the plaid tie, looking sharp.
Yeah. Slim, I mean, it's just an incredible season. I love it. Wins the Maxwell Award. We'll add it to the bottom of the screen. Trey, can we get the update when you're ready? I mean, he put together just a fabulous season. I think we all we all respect, the craft that he's put in just a couple nights ago. Wins the Heisman Trophy, and then he wins, another great honor tonight. And just so much goes into it. I mean, this is a team first guy, and he'll have another opportunity to continue to be perfect. And here he is with Desmond Howard. That's a pretty cool honor, right? You're getting interviewed by the last Heisman Trophy back in 1991. That was a receiver. And, the quest continues. And I'm sure these guys are looking forward to these awards, but at the same time, they're you could kind of tell that Devonta Smith was tired of being interviewed after a while. So these guys get rest, get dialed in, and get ready for the national championship game. But way to end the night with the Slim Reaper winning the Maxwell Award. Very well deserved.
Yeah. And, Desmond Howard, it's, there's going to be a special bond between he and Smitty. Just the fact that you don't have a lot of wide receivers win this award, and you get an opportunity to kind of welcome him into the fraternity. And one more game for Alabama. Any final thoughts, guys, before we close up shop tonight?
If tonight what Alabama's done here hasn't, got you excited for what's coming Monday, I don't know what can, because they cleaned house tonight as they should have. This is the team. This is maybe one of the greatest Alabama teams that they've ever put out there. M. Craig saying he needs to teleport to Monday. I'm with you, man. If you got any room, let me hop in there, because I'm anxious. I'm ready to go. We're gonna have great coverage all week. It's almost here. Alabama doing what they needed to do tonight. Those guys getting the respect they deserve. Great to see it.
They've earned it. How about you, Kyle? Any final thoughts?
Well, we had someone ask for an injury report. Look, there's only two players that were really watching going into this game that, had injuries. One was clearly Jalen Waddle, who we've talked about pretty much every single day. And I think listening to Nick Saban, it's kind of just a day-to-day process. And they're going to see how we can continue to manage throughout the week leading up to Monday. So he said game time decision. And then you also have Malachi Moore, who was a little banged up during Florida, didn't play, in the last game against Notre Dame. But I think from, listening to Patrick Surtain today, he said he's good to go. So Alabama's healthy, minus Landon Dickerson, who will be out because of his knee injury. So Alabama's super healthy. Ohio State, looks like they'll be good to go with Justin Fields. You can watch those interviews right here on Bama Insider. But Alabama cleans up tons of awards tonight. You can catch all the recap back at BamaInsider.com. Thank you very much for joining. I'll let Mick close it out.
Yeah, and look, we're going to have any press conference. You'll be able to get the press coverage clear, and you'll be able to hear it and see it in perfect quality right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Any nuggets on the game, Kyle's going to have for you on BamaInsider.com. Tony Tsoukalis is covering the team as well. He'll be in Miami for Monday's matchup. So, again, BamaInsider.com for that, the Alabama rival site. Then on Friday night, we start to think about the game. Saturday, we get excited for it. But then Sunday night, we really start to put the wheels in motion for our coverage of the contest itself. 6 o'clock from Innisfree in Tuscaloosa. If you're in California right now, we have people that were in Japan and Australia. You guys want the Philippines. You guys want to get a real feel of Tuscaloosa. Join us on Friday night I keep saying Friday night, on Sunday night for the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. It's really a radio show. We just put it on here for you guys to be able to sit back and watch it and hang out with us. Kyle and Chris Lowe from ESPN will be there. Also, Lance Taylor from Jocks and much more. Andrew Bone will jump in. Trey will be there. It'll be a fun night for that. And then on game day, we're going to have the biggest watch party that man has ever seen. It's going to be amazing. So just be ready to hang out with us. Trey and I will get things started. Then we'll throw it over to Kyle. And then after the game, Kyle will take your calls. And after the game, it could be happy if Alabama wins, but there's always a little bit of sadness that football season is officially over. But it is nice that football season will end with Alabama playing in the final game. And we'll have all the coverage again on Bama Insider. So thanks for watching, guys. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our Bama Insider YouTube channel. Big night for the Crimson Tide. And one more time before we get out of here, I'm going to try to go through some of the awards that Alabama was able to win, just in case you missed it. The Davey Award went to Mack Jones, best quarterback. The Biletnikoff Award went to Devonta Smith, best wide receiver. The Outland Award went to Alex Leatherwood, best interior lineman. The Rimington Award went to Landon Dickerson, best center. Johnny Unitas Award wasn't given out tonight, but that was for the best underclass QB. That went to Jones. The Doak Walker Award went to Alabama's Naji Harris, a running back. What am I missing here, Kyle? There's like two more that I
the greatest of all time.
Maxwell.
I mean, it's like we have them all at the bottom, right, Trey?
Yeah. Well, hold on. I got caught up because, the Walter Camp Award went to Davonte Smith, and the Maxwell Award went to the Slim Reaper. Roll Tide, man. That is a big night for the Crimson Tide. So for our entire crew, Tony Tsoukalis, Andrew Bone, who were with us earlier tonight, Trey Yanity, and Kyle Henderson, I'm Mick Gillespie. Thanks for watching, guys. And again, big night for Alabama. We'll talk to you again really soon. Roll Tide.